After her return to the WWE, Alexa Bliss is now out doing the interview circuit. She was on Out of Character with Ryan Satin this week, talking all about her return to the WWE, her time off, her fucking fabulous wedding where she's fucking up doing bye 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 with NSYNC and shit. But it was this clip in particular where she's talking about working with the Fiend and doing the whole Dark Alexa, the evil Alexa Bliss character, and the Lily doll and all that. Interesting shit here. What was Alexa Bliss's take on this whole situation? What did she really think about working with the Fiend? Check out this clip.
Your character went through a pretty wild story arc for a year involving the Fiend. Looking back on it now, how do you feel about the way it all played out?
Oh my gosh. Working with the Fiend, with Wyndham, was the most fun I've ever had in my entire WWE career. He is so brilliant. It's very sad that we don't work together anymore because it was so much fun, and I think the WWE Universe saw how much fun we were having. It's definitely a moment in my career that I will cherish the most because that was the most fun I've ever had. And I got to have a match against Randy Orton and beat him.
Yes, you technically did have a match against Randy Orton, beat him. That is true.
I made stuff fall from the sky. You know what I mean? Like, that was cool. I made fire come out of my hands. Like, it was so cool.
She fucking loved it. Of course she loved it. Alexa Bliss is a horror geek. She loves to, she always does like the cosplay with the horror characters. She's got, Freddy Krueger at least, we've seen that a number of times. I believe she said in other interviews, she was on the Dead Meat podcast a couple years ago where they talked about her favorite horror movie and stuff. So she's a horror chick. She's into the scary movie stuff. And she even said in this interview that she prefers to play a character, that she's kind of treading new territory right now because the character we see on TV currently is almost just exactly Alexa Bliss. There's no character to it, the personality that she's showing is basically who she is, not even really turned up to 11. It's just Alexa Bliss on TV, which is ultimately, as a wrestler, that's where you want to end up. Characters are fun to play, but once you can get into your own skin where you can just be yourself naturally, that's a great place to be as a character. But Alexa Bliss likes playing the character. She's more comfortable jumping into somebody else's skin or pretending to be something else. And she said, this is the only time in her career currently now with her return that she is not playing a character. That even when she was, Alexa Bliss, the Twisted Bliss, just evil princess, or the pixie girl or whatever, all of those were just different characters, different twists on who she is as a person. But the horror character, and she was asked too, there was a lot of hate on the internet for that character, especially when she was doing all the hokey phooey stuff, the magical powers and shit like that. And she came out of a box-shaped structure. If I was Ryan Satin, I would have asked what the difference was between a box and a box-shaped structure. That's an important question that I feel like he left on the table there. But, she got a lot of flack online for it, but she didn't give a shit because she was having fun. And that's part of it, too. I'm not going to knock her for that, she fucking having fun, dude. She said that was the absolute greatest time of her entire career. And, when you're having that much fun, fuck what the fans think. You know what I mean? She's getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars, even if not $1 million at this point, a year, just to fucking play a horror character on TV. You know what I mean? And, she talks about it. It was in that clip, I believe, where she's like, I get to pin Randy Orton, I get to wrestle Randy Orton and beat him, she seems like a cool chick. She did talk about, she was very boring. She does come across a little dry at times, but she's she's an awkward person to a certain extent. I think she suffers a lot of like social anxiety and that kind of stuff, which I do too, actually. So I relate to that. You know, I'm not judging it or nothing, but it does make her awkward, as a lot of people are. So there was a little bit of that came through in the interview too. It was fun. It was an interesting look into Alexa Bliss, especially now that we get to talk about all that Bray Wyatt stuff, because when, you know, Ryan had mentioned too, like when she was in that character, he was dying to talk to her, but he didn't want to like fuck up the gimmick, you know what I mean? But now that it's over with, we can kind of talk about it. Same with the Undertaker, you know, now that he's retired, now we can kind of get into the mystique of the Undertaker a little bit without having to, you know, try to keep kayfabe still. But it was a great interview. I highly recommend you go check that out. You can probably find it on YouTube, any podcast app that you're whatever. It's going to be Out of Character with Ryan Satin. Great interview with Alexa Bliss. Go check that out. And while you're checking that out, well, don't check that out right now. Actually, why don't you check out the next clip?
Let me tell you something, brother. You can check out full episodes each and every Sunday right here on this channel, dude. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to take your vitamins and say your prayers, brother.